Well, welcome back to a new video, guys. If you do enjoy them, do take time to give them a thumbs up, perhaps give them a share on your social media pages. That would be very, very much appreciated. And also take time to drop a comment. I do try to reply to them as often as I can. If you've got any questions, I will try and do my best to reply. Please do bear in mind I get quite a few comments, so it can be a case of waiting a while before I do reply to them all, or try my best to reply to quite a few of them. So it's a rather dank, heavy frost this morning day, and decided to come out and do some roving about. Got a 500 size reel. This rod is the Darent Valley 8-foot specialist quiver tip rod. Got that set with a very, very basic single SSG link leisure setup. Got worm on at the moment to begin with. I think what we're going to do today is have a rove about, see if we can pick off a chub or two, and maybe drop in on some perch. That's the plan, but you know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men, they do often go awry. So yeah, river's quite low. We haven't had any rain for a while. In theory it's a beautiful frosty morning to pick up some chub, but I do think we're in for a tricky old game of soldiers with the fish. I do think it's going to be tricky, but I'm going to rove quite a few spots, rotate swims, and got with me bait wise lobworms and redworms in there, maggots, got my cheese paste, and I've got bread. I've got a little bit of liquidized bread too to prime and prep some swims. Do think it's going to be tricky. The river's running low, shallow and clear, and I do think it's going to be a case of maybe at last knockings or as the light fades, unless you're fortunate enough to drop in right in on a feeding fish without spooking it. But it's going to be tricky, but it's enjoyable to be back out fishing. My one of my previous trips I'll just tell you about that. One of my previous trips I was fishing on a lovely intimate section of river, and I had a mink that I saw in the first spot that I fished, downstream of the first spot I fished, and see it pop up, and I thought, is that an otter? I had a good look and I got right more or less on top of it, and you could see it was a mink. Had a roach in its mouth. I thought, well, fair enough, I'll move upstream. As I made my way upstream, he followed me. I could see bubbles in my spot as he was going by. And then he appeared in the very final or second to last swim that I was fishing, and that was a spot I was very hopeful of getting a decent chub bite, picking up a decent quality chevin. And unfortunately he decided to come out from the undergrowth and swan about in the actual swim itself, and then sit on the flotsam and debris. So you could probably tell my feelings. I was thinking it's one of them trips where someone somewhere up there has got it in for you. I managed to have one chub, £1.5, which I was very thankful of having. But this mink literally followed. I am not exaggerating, it's not a lie, guys. This mink followed me all the way up the river. I couldn't believe I couldn't believe it. And then to add insult to injury, the final swim that I fished, I had a crayfish, freezing conditions, and a crayfish. So that was a bit of a Mexican standoff. I was holding the crayfish there, staring at him, giving him the most evil eyes ever. But yeah, it's one of those trips even. You know, you appreciate the real nice trips and the enjoyable, you know, feeling of bagging a few fish, and the contrasting trips where they're difficult does make you appreciate the trips where you pick up a fish or two. So yeah, it was a tough trip, but as I say, got to be in it to win it. January time can be a funny month, but I do think with the rivers more or less running low and clear at the moment, or this particular one running low and clear, it's going to be a tricky trip. Anyway, whiffle waffle out the way. Let's potato whiffle waffle and ruffle our way along the riverbank and see if we can pick up a fish or two, or just a fish. Be nice to pick up a decent chub though. assume it's where there's a complex next to it. I assume it's like kind of the back of they rebuilt it over the years. There's like two extra sections. One of them just turned into a massive fishing pit. And it's just a fishing pit. So yeah, it goes quite far out. Alright guys, that was quick. Right spot, asked the right question. Feels like a good fish too. Nice chub guys, nice chub. Oh, he's lightly hooked. Oh, gotcha! Lovely chubbly. Oh, it's been tricky in some swims. I'm getting a few knocks, they've been backing off. Literally very subtle taps. Oh, I reckon this could be pushing £5. I'd say so. So really nice chevin. Happy days. Well, how's about that? That's a battle-hardened chevin warrior. Not quite the 5 that I thought it was. £4, 10 ounces. But hey, who's complaining? Wonderful, real feature-filled swim and a beautiful looking chevin on a frosty, chilly winter's day on a small river. You can't ask for much better than that. It's got a right hump. I think it's got the hump with me, but I think it has got a right shoulder to it. Just pull myself back. Wonderful. How absolutely spiffing. Yeah, very, very happy with that. Off you go. It's not that way. Back under the cover. Are you sure you guys can see okay? We're in, guys. Doesn't feel a bad fish either. Absolutely hammered the bread then. I was just thinking about changing over to cheese. Oh, that's a nice fish. Oh, not the margins. In you go. It's a good one. It's a real nice fish. Just switched the camera off, didn't I? So I've got to make sure I've got room on my memory card for a few more swims, and the rod's hammered round. Oh, it's a real good fish. Really, really nice chub. Now, see if my guesstimate's right. I'd say this one's got to be. It's got to be a 5. Has to be a 5. It's way too heavy. Very happy. Very, very happy indeed. Well, feast your eyes on that, guys. What a corker. Now, I said £5. I'm way out. It's well over 5. I was right with saying it was £5, but this fish is £5 15 ounces. Not quite a 6. And I think honesty is always the best policy. £5 15 ounces. The scales did divot to 6, then back to 5.15. I'm not quibbling. £5 15 ounces. Wonderful looking chevin. Cracking scrap. Very lightly hooked. As you can see, it's rather chilly now as well. I'm going to head on to some other swims, chance my arm in there and switch over to cheese paste, which is what I was about to do. Switch over from bread and the rod hammered round. Look at that. What a cracking small river chevin. Pull myself back. £5 15 ounces. A very, very happy Marky boy. Very happy indeed. You go, mate. Seek out those snags and those covers. Wonderful. Absolutely brilliant. Whew. That was a dodgy scrap, guys. It's a real bramble swim, this. Whew. Tell you what, it put me under the tree to my left hand side. Couldn't get the rod that low, so it had to be a bit of a tricky play to get it out. I had to really bully it and just spin that old roulette wheel and take a chance. It's a nice looking chub though, very nice, and I think that is a nice one to end the fishing trip on. Beautiful condition chevin, really did smack me round and tear off upstream and underneath that nasty looking bit of tree and brambles. Very, very hard to play it and land. It was really touch and go. I needed to use all my 9 lives. But yeah, what a corking looking fish on the cheese plate. Look at that, beautiful condition, wonderful. Just draw myself back. How about that then, guys? How about that indeed? And I think that's the perfect fish to end what has been an enjoyable winter's chevin hunting. At least until the next trip, eh? Wonderful. Well, alas, we've reached that part of the video which is labelled the end of a fishing trip, and another one to add to those memory banks. Thoroughly enjoyable. You know, it started off, you know, quite frosty. Hasn't been very warm today at all. I think we haven't got much above 5 degrees at max, and it's now back down to hovering between 2 degrees and 3 degrees. But yeah, started off a bit tricky. I expected it to be a little bit difficult with the river running clear, but then got into that nice 4 pound plus chub, and that was in the bright sun, you know, and so that was always welcome, especially in tricky conditions. Then really was a case of scratching about. I had a few knocks in a few swims, and switched to that area that I was fishing, where I had that lovely 5 pound 15 ounce fish. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a interesting area. It's not that deep, but it does have variation in undercut bank and areas where there used to be a lot of tree cover that has been removed. So it's always a bit worrying, isn't it, as an angler, when you see the areas that you know have got good, usually have good tree cover, and that's been, you know, wrecked and taken out, and you always worry that the fish will move on. But in this case, that lovely 5 pound 15 ounce chub, beautiful. Oh, such a nice fish. That alone made the trip wonderful. Then case of moving to another swim in darkness, and I was getting lots of chub rattles, you know, apprehensive rattles, and then a couple of decent, what I call ghost strikes or ghost bites, where you get really good bites and you'll strike into thin air. So yeah, that was a real hairy scrap. I mean, I say it was a scrap. I tried to bully it, but it tore me a new one. Went under the branches and brambles upstream. I was lucky to really give it some teddy bear and bully it back out. Had to really just play that luck card and see if I was, you know, lady luck was on my side, and thankfully it was. But yeah, 3 lovely chub. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed filming it. I always enjoy making them, sharing them with you guys, and enjoying to hear your comments and also hear about your fishing trips. So I'm not going to waffle. I have got to be heading off home. So from a chilly little waterway and an enjoyable chevin chasing trip, I'd like to wish, wherever you're fishing, wherever you're having a dangle, I hope you're having a good time. And I'll see you on another video on the flip side on Fishing for Memories. Take care, guys. See you soon.